Rangers explode into the transfer market. Rangers to take extra steps to seal Samuel Edozie. Transfer as bid made. Rangers transfer for Rak-Sakyi at risk of collapse after development away from Ibrox. Yilmaz out the door. Diomande's future in doubt. And a sensational Serie B star lined up to replace him. Smash that like button if you back our channel. And at the end of the video, drop your thoughts in the comments. Praise it, rant about it, argue your case. We are the people. Rangers are stepping things up in the chase for Southampton's Samuel Edozie, with reports suggesting a fresh bid's already been launched, but the Saints, in classic English fashion, turned it down without blinking. The winger, just 22, is well known for his pace and one-on-one ability, and he's no stranger to the British game, having come through the ranks at Manchester City before moving on to Southampton and more recently, a loan spell at Anderlecht. Now here's where it gets interesting. Injury expert Dr. Rajpal Brar has weighed in, saying Rangers might be digging into Edozie's hip and ankle concerns from last season before making any final decisions. It's not just about talent, this is about durability too. We've seen too many flair players come in, look sharp for a few games, and then disappear with a recurring knock. But let's be honest, when you look at the stats, over 30 appearances for Anderlecht last season with a decent return, it's clear he's fit enough to handle regular minutes. The lad's got experience in top-flight football, European nights, and has the energy that would fit like a glove in Russell Martin's system. This is the sort of signing that could light a fire under Rangers' title ambitions. Young, fast, direct, and ready to prove himself. And make no mistake, he's exactly the type of winger we've been crying out for since Ryan Kent lost his spark. The only thing standing in the way right now is Southampton's stubbornness. But with another offer in, the pressure's shifting. If Celtic had a winger with hip and ankle issues, you'd never hear the end of it. So why should Rangers be gambling on a player whose fitness might be a ticking time bomb? Or is this exactly the kind of risk you need to take to outpace Celtic and bring the title back to Ibrox where it belongs? It's the end of the road at Ibrox for Ridvan Yilmaz. No surprises there. After being iced out of the Champions League squad and having his shirt number handed to Max Aarons, you don't need a press release to know what's happening. The writing's been on the wall, and now it's in block capitals. The Turkish fullback, just 24, looks set for a cut-price return to Besiktas, a move that's looking more like a mercy transfer than anything else. Gökmen Özkan's reporting that Besiktas will get him for less than they spent on David Jurasek, which says everything about how desperate both sides are to wrap this up. Yilmaz made 29 appearances last season, chipped in with a couple of assists and clocked over 1,800 minutes. But despite that, he never truly nailed down a place in the starting 11. And let's be honest, you never once felt he was undroppable. He's tidy, he's technical, but he's just not commanding enough for what Rangers need in a title-winning side. And look, Max Aarons is not the long-term answer on the left either. Against Panathinaikos, he looked like a right-back playing out of position because that's exactly what he was. His positioning was off, his passing under pressure was ropey, and at times it looked like the Greek side were deliberately targeting that flank. So while Russell Martin may have shuffled things around, it's clear the left-back issue hasn't been solved. It's been kicked down the road once Yilmaz is out the door, and that day's fast approaching. Rangers need to stop faffing about and bring in a proper left-sided defender, someone who can overlap, defend solidly, and push high without leaving Tavernier to mop up every time the ball comes across the park. If Yilmaz had been playing in green and white and cost nearly £5 million, the Celtic lot would be calling it a historic flop. So why is his time at Ibrox still being framed like some sort of unlucky tale instead of what it really was, a misfire that never quite took flight? Well then, just as talk of Mohamed Diomande heading for the exit starts heating up, here comes a name that could flip the whole script. Salvatore Esposito, a tenacious, battle-hardened Italian midfielder, priced at around £5 million and reportedly on Rangers' radar. Now, this is no cheap filler move. This would be a serious piece of business. Diomande, to his credit, looked sharp against Panathinaikos, grabbed an assist, showed bite in midfield, and reminded everyone exactly why he's been such a vital cog in the Rangers' engine room. His blend of energy and defensive graft has made him a fan favorite, and his Europa League numbers, 3 tackles and interceptions per match, over 50% dual success rate, show the value he brings when the pressure's on. But here's the thing. If the Besiktas move materializes, and let's be honest, Turkish sides love our midfielders, Rangers can't afford to be sentimental. And Esposito, well, he's putting out numbers that make Diomande's look tame. 7 goals, 9 assists, higher success rates in both ground and aerial duels, and more big chances created. That's not just solid, that's statement stuff. Yes, Serie B is not the Premiership, but this isn't just another foreign punt. This is an Italy international called a midfield controller by top scouts who plays with grit, composure, and vision. The kind of player who doesn't just fill Diomande's boots, he makes you forget who wore them. And look, Russell Martin needs midfielders who can contribute at both ends, especially in Europe. You don't win matches with half measures, you win with bold moves. Esposito is exactly that. If Diomande was playing in green and white, would you even rate him the same, or would you be saying he flatters to deceive and disappears in big moments? So if Rangers can bring in someone clearly performing at a higher level, shouldn't you be hoping Diomande goes just to make room for the upgrade? It's all heating up again at Ibrox, and this time it's Jesurun Rak-Sakyi who's right at the heart of it. The Crystal Palace winger, rated at around £10 million, is reportedly very close to joining Rangers after Russell Martin gave what can only be described as a nod and wink endorsement. Martin didn't just praise Rak-Sakyi's quality, he brought the recruitment team into the conversation, a move that almost screams, "We're working on it." And when Ross McCormack, a former striker who knows how these things play out behind the scenes, says, "The deal's close, you better believe there's fire behind the smoke," Rak-Sakyi wants the move. That much is clear. He's seen the vision, first team football trophies, Champions League nights under the lights at Ibrox, not mid-table scraps or Carabao Cup cameos, and with clubs like Southampton, Leicester and Coventry circling, it says a lot that he's putting Rangers first. The initial offer, a loan deal with a £10 million obligation to buy, was knocked back by Palace. They want cash straight up. But here's the curveball. Rak-Sakyi picked up a knock in Palace's friendly against Crawley Town, walked off on his own, yes, but if that injury turns out to be more than a wee niggle, this whole deal could collapse faster than Celtic's Europa League campaigns. And this saga has silenced a few folk already. Remember Paul Lambert piping up, saying Rangers can't really spend and are only trying to close the gap? A £10 million offer for a Premier League winger says otherwise. The myth that Rangers are on a shoestring while Celtic throw cash around like confetti, debunked, thoroughly. Rak-Sakyi's numbers back it all up. 7 goals and 2 assists last season in the Championship despite inconsistent minutes, described as phenomenal by those who've worked with him. And let's not kid ourselves, Dowell out on the wing is a temporary patch, not a long-term fix. If Rak-Sakyi had turned his head towards Celtic instead of Ibrox, would the media be calling it a coup and praising their ambition? So why is it when Rangers go for a £10 million talent, the story suddenly becomes about what they can't afford? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.